What I'm about to tell you is something I know you're not going to believe. You're going to say, Charles, this is like Santa Claus. It's not real. It can't possibly be real. But just like plugging your iPhone into a computer, I'm going to need you to trust me on this. This may be one of the most game-changing scientific breakthroughs since penicillin. This might save more lives than the Heimlich maneuver. If you're standing up, you're going to want to sit down for this. There is a cure for hiccups. And I know that may not sound impressive out the gate. I understand off-rip, that's one of those things you scoff at like, Charles, this is so juvenile. I already know how to get rid of hiccups. Old Meemaw gave me the proper strategy. I clamp down on my nipples while gargling cinnamon and my hiccups are gone instantly. The cure's already been discovered. Hiccups is one of those things where every single fucking person has their own maneuver, their own technique for getting rid of them. Drinking water really fast, jump scaring them away, holding your breath, all kinds of different ones. And I'm sure you already know what hiccups are. Your diaphragm spasming due to a bunch of different potential reasons. And while there may be hundreds of different tactics to combat the hiccup menace, they don't work for everybody. Some will work for some and won't work for others. Except there is one that works for every single human being on the planet, it seems. And it's one that I don't think anybody knows about. It's the holy grail of hiccup remedies. Yet when I look it up on Google to see if this was like well-known information that I only just learned about like 5 months ago, it turns up no results. The closest I can find is this, which comes from Neil Shubin of the University of Chicago, who dives deep into hiccups themselves, I suppose, for a bit, and talks about how it is a leftover trait from trying to breathe through gills, so you need to remind yourself that you are not a fish and are indeed a human. And some news outlets at the time did publish about that story, like, hey, if you have the hiccups, tell yourself you're not a fish, it'll fix it. And some people report that it works, but not everybody. What I learned has worked for every single person I have told it to, tried it with, and it has worked for myself as well. I've been conducting my own small-scale scientific study on it for the last 5 months because I think it is so fucking fascinating. It was taught to me by one of our Moist Esports Apex players, MT. MT was on our Apex roster, and one night at the warehouse, we were just shooting the shit, discussing something, I don't know what, maybe titties and rock and roll, who really knows. But eventually he told me something he found interesting, and that was that he knew the cure to hiccups. And I was like, haha, MT, you jokester, stupidest shit I ever heard in my life. And then he told me that he's been doing this for a long time and has told other players on our team the same thing, and it has worked for them. And then shared with me the secret, the Krabby Patty secret formula. He said, the next time you have hiccups, think to yourself you don't have them, and they'll immediately go away. But not only that you don't have them, that hiccups themselves aren't real. And I thought that was really silly. I said, haha, MTU jokester, dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life. But I decided to give it a try when I actually did have the hiccups. And I shit you not, the very first time the thought even crossed my brain that I didn't have them, my hiccups went away. I thought it was a coincidence. I thought the only logical explanation was placebo. This seems like one of those things that is very much just a placebo effect, and it's a very powerful thing for sure, but I thought there was no way this would work for an extended period of time because now I'm in on it, right? Like there's no way I'll be able to convince myself more than once. But then, sure enough, probably a few weeks later, maybe a month later, I had another case of the hiccups, and I tried it again. Thought to myself, hiccups aren't real, I don't have them. Done. Instantly. That was game, set, and match. I got maybe 2 hiccups out, told myself that, went away. So then I started telling other people about it. I started telling friends, they started trying it, they were reporting the same thing. I asked them to let me know if it worked, and they told me it did. So the efficiency seems pretty consistent, but I wanted to see it for my own peepers. So I was on a date, and the lady that was accompanying me had some hiccups start. Probably because we were eating quite a bit, maybe ate too fast. Who really knows? I'm not here to get to the origin of the hiccups, the genesis or anything. But I thought, I have to know. I have to know. I'm seeing hiccups right now from a third-party perspective. Is this going to work? Like, this is the biggest possible stage to try it on. I'm going to look like a psychopath telling her this, but I have to try. So I told her, like, hey, if you tell yourself you don't have the hiccups, that hiccups aren't real, they're going to go away. But of course there was a chance that she wouldn't actually, like, think that to herself, because it's such a fucking weird request on a date, right? So I took it a step further. I started saying it to her. I was like fucking chanting it at her. It was like casting a spell, I bet. Anyway, though, I was telling her, hiccups aren't real. Hiccups are not real. They're just not real. Hiccups aren't real. Like, I was making a joke out of it. Like, it wasn't like I was sitting there, throat singing it or anything. I was making it lighthearted, whatever, but I was still getting the information across, like, hiccups aren't real. And sure enough, the hiccups stopped. Right in front of my eyes. Once I told her to think that, and I said it, like, a few times, hiccups gone. And she thought that was the coolest shit ever. And I now saw it firsthand. It didn't just work for me. It didn't just work for my friends who told me that it worked for them. I now just saw it happen in real time with someone who had a case of the hiccups. So, over the course of this 5 months, every single person that I've told this to, and at least the one person I've seen with hiccups and tried it on, it has worked with 100% effective efficiency. Like, instantly. It's not like it was like an overtime thing where they were just going to go away naturally. It happened right away. That can't be just a coincidence. And I am confident that this still is very much a placebo, but it's really, really effective. And really, I thought just sharing this could help someone out there if you're prone to getting hiccups, because they are just like a huge nuisance. They're a big headache to deal with. So next time you have a case of the hiccups, just try this. Tell yourself you don't have them, hiccups aren't real, and see if it works for you. I'm confident now that it will because I've seen it work firsthand. It's worked for me every time I've had them. And everyone I've told it to is saying that it worked for them and that that's going to be the way they get rid of hiccups from now on. So I really do think this is the way to beat hiccups. I think this is the cure for hiccups. We've done it. Big Pharma's been trying to bury the truth that you can cure hiccups yourself. Government's been trying to shut this truth down, but I just shared it with all of you for free. So, yeah, see if this works for you. Let me know. I'm super curious. But, yeah, huge shout out to MT. I would have never thought this would actually work, especially because it's not like hiccups are, an imaginary thing. Like, it's a real sensation. Like, your diaphragm is spazzing. So, things like drinking water, the whole idea behind it, if I remember correctly, is to, like, reset your diaphragm so that way it'll fix that problem. Like, it's not something that's just made up, Like, how could telling yourself that it is somehow fix it? Like, there is something happening in your body. So why would you telling your body that it's not happening just get rid of it? I don't know. I'm not smart enough to fully grasp the method by which this works, but it does. I really think this will work for everybody. I really think so. MT, he's a fucking pioneer here in the hiccups, medical community. I don't know if he discovered it himself or someone he knew told him about it. It came to him in a dream from God. Who really knows? But hey, I think we've beaten hiccups here. So yeah, I just wanted to share this. That's really about it. See ya.